Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and it is International Women's Day. And so, as this very special broadcast today, I thought I'd do different quotes around International Women's Day and talk about the effect that being a woman has on the world today. And it's really interesting to me because, as far as I know, we don't have an International Men's Day, do we? And if we do, I didn't research that first, but I'm pretty sure, I don't think I've seen one. So do you think it's right that we just have an International Women's Day and not an International Men's Day? So let me know about that one. Hi there, Jody. Because to me, it was just like, yeah, haven't we got past this now? But maybe not. I was aware that it's been quite a week for women this week in politics. And so some of it good and some of it not so good, I think. But, we will continue to have impact. Anyway, so our quotes for today are all around International Women's Day. And hopefully it will have some meaning to you in terms of who you are as a human being. As you know, this year we're concentrating on our emotional intelligence as opposed to our intellectual intelligence. And so I want you, as I read these different quotes out, to really feel these at your soul, because that's where we're dealing with things at the moment. And there's a beautiful quote here from the Phenomenal Woman today. And it says, "A daughter who serves, a sister who loves, a mother who bears, a friend who cares, a bestower of love, life, friendship, and trust, a picture of poise, strength, and grace, a dreamer, achiever, a winner all along. We celebrate you, the phenomenal woman of today. Happy Women's Day." Don't you think that's beautiful? I thought that was such a nice one to start off with today. Sometimes we just have to remember who we are and to appreciate it at that sort of level. All right, now here's another great one. "You can do almost anything you set your mind to. You can swim the deepest ocean and climb the highest peak. Be a doctor or fly a plane. You can face adversity and still walk tall. You are strong, beautiful, compassionate, and much more than words will ever say. Today is yours, and so is every other day. Happy Women's Day." I can't help but feel that if somebody had read those words to us every morning as we brushed our teeth, and when we were small, what change would that have made in our lives? And I don't know if any of you have ever seen that little bit of video where there is a father who's doing that for his daughter. And every single morning, he has this whole litany of stuff that he repeats. It's like an anthem for him that he repeats to his daughter to remind her what she is capable of, rather than she is just a woman. So, and I don't know about you, but when I grew up, I was told it was my job, literally that's what I was told, to go to work and find a husband who would support me for the rest of my life. Now, first of all, to get a good education so that I could get a job to find a husband to support me for the rest of my life. That was what I was told. And I don't know what you were told. And if you had something that was told to you that is similar, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Because, really, when I think about it now, it didn't really set a very high expectation, did it, of doing anything other than get married, which I failed at. Well, I actually did get married, but I realize now that I really didn't have the right set of rules to start with. We are cute daughters. We are sweet sisters. We are lovely lovers. We are darling wives and adorable mothers. We are a source of strength. We are women. And that makes me think that sometimes we are still allowed to be cute daughters, right? Thank goodness. For those of you who, my mother has long passed, but I really do think perhaps I was the cute daughter. I wasn't a sweet sister, and still am not. I'm not sure I was a lovely lover or a darling wife, but I've learned a lot since then. But I do believe that I was a source of strength, so I didn't fail completely. I got 2 out of that list. Oh, gosh. Yeah. How about that? And then, how about this one? It's not just your beauty, not only your charming ways. Your presence somehow just makes my world a more special place. Your understanding, warmth, and affection, your small thoughtful actions, all define the perfection of womanhood to me. Gosh, isn't that beautiful? How many of you would like somebody to say that to you? And some of you have people in your lives that do say things like that to you, and I think that's awesome. Who knows where she's going and will keep on until she gets there? Who knows not only what she wants from life, but what she has to offer in return? Here's to the woman who is loyal to family and friends, who expects no more from others than she is willing to give. Here's to the woman who gives the gifts of her thoughtfulness, who shows her caring with a word of support, her understanding with a smile, a woman who brings joy to others just by being herself. Here's to the woman. I just thought that was beautiful. And how about a symbol of modesty and mercy, healing for the whole of humanity, gentle her touch and so her words, bless the woman for her powers. Women, the truth and the love, showers on children and her love, looking nothing, seeking no rewards, only piety flowing through her glance. Awesome stuff. And this one says, hey, magnificent lady, you personify elan and attitude. Seeing you fills my heart with love and affection. Here's my best wish to you on Women's Day. Wow, that is beautiful. A willingness to listen, the patience to understand, the strength to support, the heart to care, and just to be there. That is the beauty of the lady. And another great one, which says, you have everything in you, and that's the reason why the world is celebrating you. So follow your dreams and make them come true. How many of you in your life had dreams that you didn't bother to pursue for whatever reason? How many of you through your life traded your dreams up for other things that you thought at the time were more important? And I think it's really interesting to me to see the number of women who today are seeing their role in our lives and in their own lives to be of equal value. And, you know, I think less and less it's a case of, oh, well, my job just asked me to transfer, so we have to move. And, you know, I've heard so many stories of women who said, no, if you want to move, that's your right. But I am here and the children are here and my job is here. And you know, and it's something that would have been absolutely unthought of in my day. And so to me, this is like, wow, how things have changed in my lifetime. It's quite amazing to me. However, there are still some, and quite rightly so, who will say, if that's where your job is, that's where we all go, because we follow you. And that's also okay. I want to make sure I say that, because there are two different sorts of people. And some are those that will go out on their own and develop their own careers and be the breadwinner. And there are others that will be the family member that follows the husband wherever. And so, you know, I look at it and I go, I think there are just two sorts of people. And we've always known that. I keep thinking about people like Amelia Earhart, you know, the flyer. And you go, you know, she was so far ahead of her time. Hi, Erin. She was so far ahead of her time. There's so many wonderful women that I think weren't necessarily born to be married and have children and do whatever. It was just like they were very few and far between, and they were ridiculed horribly for their decisions. This world is a better place because of the presence of women. Mother, sister, daughter, friend, lover, or wife. No matter what the role is, they add meaning to our existence and they bring love to our life. You know, I think one of the interesting things about being a woman is if we are who we are love. And, you know, I have to remind myself of this when I get all tied up emotionally, that if I really get back to the true me, I am a loving me. I am not a vengeful me. I am not a revengeful me. I am not an angry me. I am not a controlling me. I am a loving me. And so I would encourage you all this day to remember that we are nurturers of human. That we're nurturers, full stop. But that doesn't necessarily mean, as I said, that we all necessarily are born to be mothers or born to be wives. It means that we have that innate ability within us. And I don't believe that means that men don't as well. You know, that's one of the peculiar things that I found as, you know, I have taken this metamorphosis in my life from being taught that, you know, what a woman's role was and what a man's role was, that now I have a lot more sympathy for men than I ever did before. And I don't know if any of you agree with me on that. It must be so difficult to be a man today because the roles have been changed so much for them, and especially for the older people in my generation, the older men. So, excuse me, I've just got... Okay, here we go. You can feel her innocence in the form of a daughter. Hi there, Emma. Emma, I was asked today about the fitness group, and somebody, yes, we're talking about that, yeah. And somebody asked me why you left it, and I didn't answer because I don't know. So let me know if you want me to tell somebody something. All right, so we can feel her innocence in the form of a daughter. You can feel her care in the form of a sister. You can feel her warmth in the form of a friend, and you can feel her passion in the form of a beloved. You can feel her dedication in the form of a wife. You can feel her blessing in the form of a grandmother. And yet she is so tough too. Her heart is so tender, so naughty, so charming, so sharing, so melodious. She is woman. Okay, Emma, thank you for letting me know. It's not necessary to be in conversation, Emma, just so that you know. The whole point of that group is to support you when you need support. You know what I mean? It's like to know what your goal is, and that we, as in everything else that we do, it's not about keeping up with anybody else or doing what anybody else does. It's for you to use it to your benefit. Does that make sense? And if you have anybody there that you care to support them. And I would just, for those of you who are watching, we have a small fitness group that get together. And so I think, Emma, what happens here is that you see it that you need to do more than you actually do need to do. I personally think you are a wonderful addition to the group, just so that, yeah. I must admit, Jodie's saying the same thing. I loved having you in the group. Yeah, I did too. And because I know some of the struggles you're going through, and I just felt somebody understood the ones I'm going through as well. We know that Jodie does and Lauren does, but you know what I mean? You always showed great care about that. So for those of you who are online, can you tell me you don't know Beth and you don't know Kerry? Oh, you love coming for the quotes. Okay, fine. That's the most important thing. All right. So I don't think I would be me if I didn't say to you that anytime you want to be back in it again, you let me know, right? Because you're always welcome. You know, it's really important that you know that. How about this quote? Woman, a mix of style and substance, a twist of fun and a dash of cool. And for those of you who like acronyms, you know, where the words spell out another word going down, this is the word woman. Wonderful, outstanding, marvelous, adorable, nice. Hi, Kimmy. Good to see you. And how about this one? How many of you know that there are people in your life that can say this? I don't need to look back because I know you're behind me. How many of you trust your support to that level? So this is a beautiful one, which says, with someone as loving and caring as you beside me, life is one beautiful journey. And, you know, I have to say, for the many women who are part of Dear Mama Sal, and I know we got some guys too, but definitely for the women, I have to tell you that that is so true. I want to tell you that my life is made better by knowing all of you, and for the input that you give and the help that you kindly share, and your honesty. And I think that is something that is so rare in this day and age, that we have people who are prepared to talk about their bad as well as their good. One of the things that I believe in terms of emotional intelligence is that you realize it's okay not to be perfect. And that is a very emotionally intelligent thing. You don't try to be all things to all people, because that is not something that is doable. But you can be everything to a few people. And I am hoping that as we go through the weeks of the year, that we will all grow a different lovingness for ourselves and realize that being emotionally intelligent is about not only looking after ourselves, but doing the best, as Jody has just said, and thank you for that, Jody. Jody just said, thank you all for enriching my life, right? Doing your best to enrich the life of one or two people, I think, is better than lying to the world. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I spent a lot of my life pretending to be somebody I wasn't. I'm much happier now that I'm being who I am. I don't know how else to describe that to anybody. By the way, talking about who I am, I was floored this week. Floored as in having flaws, not as in floored. I was floored this week because for some reason I suddenly put on weight. And for those of you who are regular viewers, you know that I have been diagnosed as diabetic, and that I'm doing so much to try and reduce that. And I suddenly put on weight. And it was pretty obvious to me that a lot of it was water, because literally my body started to swell up. So my body was retaining water. So you cannot believe that. It always strikes me as so weird that the way to get rid of water is to drink a lot of it. And I realized that for some reason, I just don't drink enough fluids in a day. And I wonder if any of you have that problem as well. I don't give myself a fighting chance because I don't consume enough liquid. And so, but I don't like water. You know, to me, water is not good. So as you all know, I'm in a process this year of what can I do, not what can I not do. And so one of the things that I have done is to create this incredibly tasty drink, which is both food and water. And this is a mixture of carrot and orange, including some orange peel and some lemon with lemon peel. What else is in there? Oh, a little bit of ginger, a little bit of, actually it's a mixture of ginger and turmeric that I shake up in a bottle, and then just add a little bit to the drink every time I make it. You know, it's like, and I can consume that very well. And what I do is during the day, I just sip on it like this. And you understand it's a little bit chunky because it's still got it's got bits of peel and pulp in it. But then when I get it down to about halfway, I start filling it up with ice cubes, and then it lasts me all day. But I'm still working on that original input of the good stuff. So I thought I'd just mention that. And by the way, I don't have a fancy juicer or anything. I just blend it all up in my blender. And it works for me. This quote says, women, a symbol of modesty and mercy, healing for the whole of humanity. Gentle her touch, so her words. Bless the woman for her powers. Women, the truth and the love. Showers on children and her love, looking nothing and seeking no rewards, only pity, piety flowing through her glance. You know, to me, this is like, we have so many things for which we are known. And I would like us to remember that who we are is definitely good enough. Yeah, it's interesting, Kimmy, both Jody and Kimmy came back to me on that. All right, so Jody's saying, I struggle with that too. I rarely drink plain water, usually tea, yes. And really that's something I need to get back to, is drinking my version of lemon tea, I think is a really good idea. Yes, Jody, you know, I try to make sure that what I do drink is nutritious. Because just those little bits of, you know, ground up pulp and peel, I think, you know, just gives the body something to work on as well. So that's really good. The good news is that some of the edema, you know, the swelling has gone down. I still have some of it, but I'm still waiting for the weight to follow. It was so disappointing to me because it was like 1 minute I was down 6 pounds from the beginning of this journey. And the next minute I was only down 3.6. And, you know, it was devastating to me. And I don't mind telling you that. I really had a problem with it. So I try to remember that whatever the emotion is, it's neither good nor bad. It just is that emotion. And also, because we've been talking about that all year as well, which is that we need to remember that all our thoughts go through our emotions, you know, before they get to our rational. So what I did was I had to really check in on my emotional, what was going on for me emotionally. Kimmy's asking, have I checked my thyroid? My thyroid gets checked about twice a year, Kimmy. I'm on thyroid replacement therapy anyway, and have been for quite some time. So they check it, I think it's checked at least once a year, if not twice. All right, so, but what I realized was that there was some emotion attached to it. I was disappointed in myself. Do any of you relate to that? Which is, you know, you were so happy because you were doing so well, and then suddenly reality hits, and now I felt like a loser, which I knew I wasn't. But for that moment, I felt like a loser. And the trick was to get out of that emotion. It took me a couple of days to do that. It took me a couple of days to just allow myself to go, do I really want to, you know, be back here again in this emotional nightmare? Or do I want to just take a little while and understand it's quite natural that that would feel very tough, but I don't have to stay in that feeling. And the only way to change that feeling is to do something about it. Remember what we say, the way that you move out of emotion and get into the rational is to do something. And this is the bit that most people don't do, and they stay in victim. They stay in emotion. So I'm a great believer that if ever I want to get out of emotion, what I do is I do something to remind me that I am not a victim of my emotions. I'm allowed to be in them because that is quite normal, but how long I stay there is up to me. How many of you have found that out now? That it's not that you don't get emotional, it's about how long do I choose to stay there. All right, so Kimmy's saying the same thing. I do because I've stopped losing weight and started ping-ponging. Yes. The interesting thing, though, if I can just show you that, and I tried to do that. Hang on one second, just so that you guys can see. And this is part of why I am so grateful to be in your lives, because I now have a visual to show you this reality. Just hold on one second. I'm just trying to get it for you. All right, even though I am yo-yoing, can you, I always touch the screen by accident. Can you see this is this way up, but look at it. I'm still way down. So it's like mountain climbing in reverse. And I think maybe that's what it is, mountain climbing in reverse. There are going to be peaks and valleys. And I'm going to be talking to a nutritionist next week. And I want to talk to him or her about that. And is this quite normal to have this, peak and valley type thing? And this is constant adjustment. What I did find out, and Jody, I know that you mentioned to me that you had the same reality, that when I had that little time of being in the emotion, I got honest with myself. And what I did is I realized I had changed some of the good practices. And Jody was telling me she'd done the same thing. All right, let me see what the comments are here. Wow. Jody's saying that the visual of emotion, it's not versus rational, Jody. It's the fact that you just need to understand that every thought goes through the emotion part of the brain before it gets to the rational part of the brain. All right. And I'm so grateful that I was able to immediately recognize what needed to be done instead of just having the emotions spin. I am so happy that you found that. Kimmy's saying also, she says that the scale says a different weight at the clinic. There is a 7-pound difference. What I would do if I knew that to be true, Kimmy, I presume that it puts on 7 pounds. Is that correct? I'm just waiting for Kimmy to give me that answer. I have found that everybody says that. And part of the problem is that maybe your scale isn't correct to start with. So if I wanted to stay in my medical reality, Kimmy, what I would probably do is just keep adding 7 pounds on, maybe just with a piece of paper. So I know this is what it's going to be when I do the medical one. The other thing is, if I am correct on this, Kimmy, most of us get weighed in a medical facility with clothes on. Yes, it's just a different scale. And also, I'm inclined to weigh myself. I know this is a horrific picture, but I'm inclined to weigh myself stark naked as opposed to with all my clothes on, because to me, like every outfit I wear must weigh slightly differently. And so that is why I don't worry about that. It's like I know what I am on my scale. I can remember, for example, somebody saying something about my Fitbit watch wasn't giving me the correct information about certain things. And I said, no, but it still gives me a trend. You know, it's not about perfection for me. It's about, I can see that whether that is perfectly correct or not, what I can see is that I'm on the right path. And that's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in the perfection. And here is another great quote for Women's Day. This says, women is a symbol of power, God's finest and beautiful creation, without whom no creation is possible. So true. Although, I would like to say no human creation is possible, because there are lots of creations that are possible by men. Yes, and Kimmy is saying, a very nice argument, Kimmy, I like that. Kimmy is saying, yes, but what if their scale is wrong? What I'm suggesting to you, Kimmy, is just to know that their scale is going to weigh you in 7 pounds heavier. And, so I would keep that, when I write down, okay, I am 10 pounds, and that would be 17 pounds at the doctor's. I am now 20 pounds, which would make me 27 pounds at the doctor. I would keep both those figures in my mind all the time, so that I know that I am not kidding myself. And it's just a number. And it is possible that their scale is off, but I have a feeling their scale is likely to be less incorrect than a normal bathroom scale, depending on what sort of bathroom scale you have, of course. And perhaps I can ask that in terms of being a woman, how often do you weigh yourself? How often do you keep track of the peaks and valleys of your weight? I was quite surprised that my weight fluctuated so much in such a short time. And the interesting thing was, and Jody, I think you will remember, and anybody else that was here on Sunday, the meal that I cooked on Sunday, I remember saying of it that it tasted like it had a lot of sodium in it. Do you remember that, Jody? And it was really interesting to me that then straight after that, my water retention suddenly jumped very high. And, the edema happened. So I was right. I tasted the sodium. So maybe I can ask my viewers, when you get water retention, do you have your own magic way of clearing that? And if so, please leave us a comment below so that people can see how you do it. And just put the words, water retention, and then put, this is what I do, all right? Yes, I have a very good scale as well, Kimmy. That isn't the point. It's not about who's right. You see, Kimmy, you're getting tied into the fact that you're angry that their scale is possibly wrong. I would say their scale is their scale, and that's what they're going to take as the right weight. Whether it's fair or not isn't the issue. So what I would do is I would just keep those two figures in my mind the whole time, so I can make sure that when I next go to the doctor, it's going to show a reduction on their scale as well. You're confused that not all scales in the world weigh the same way. Where is the confusion, Kim? And thank you for telling that truth. Let's see if we can sort this out. While you're typing that, let me read you a quote from Mother Teresa. If your eyes are positive, you will love the world. But if your tongue is positive, the world will love you. A woman's love is in action. She looks with her heart and feels with her eyes. A woman is the bank where her family deposits all their anger, worries, and hurt. A woman is the cement that keeps her family together, and her love lasts a lifetime. All right, so I would, yes, and Jody is also saying that, Kimmy, right, that as long as you weigh on the same scale every time, all right, and what I would do is just keep track over the next few times you are weighed and see, is it consistent, that their scale weighs you 7 pounds heavier? Or was it just that it was having a blip? Sometimes they do. I know that if I go to the doctor, Kimmy, I am going to weigh far more than I do at home. All right. Number one, because I'm not going to be stark naked when they weigh me at the doctor's, and I wouldn't want to do that to them. Somebody said the fastest way to change society is to mobilize the women of the world. How many of you are so happy that so much is being done to educate women around the world these days? How many of you are going, this will make such a difference to our world? All right, so Kimmy is saying that she used to weigh every day, but now she just weighs herself once a week. I actually weigh myself about 3 times a week because I really feel the need to adjust, if that makes sense. Yes, and you keep a journal. That is awesome. So you'll be able to, I do the same thing. When I get my blood pressure checked at the doctor's, I always come back and just make a note of that somewhere. And just so that I can be aware that is, what's happening to my blood pressure. And my watch tells me, but I want to know, does the doctor's system confirm? And so I hope you understand, Kim, what I was saying was don't give it any emotion it doesn't need. Just know the reality is their scale is going to weigh you in a certain amount heavier than your scale at home does. All right, so Jody is saying, I weigh once a month because if I do more frequently, I tend to tie my emotions and self-worth to that number on the scale. All right, so that's a very healthy way to look at it, Jody, that, this is your way of doing it that works for you and keeps your self-criticism under check. Is that correct? And we do that a lot as women, don't we? We criticize ourselves very harshly. So, Kimmy, I just want to make sure we're clear. The way you let go of the emotion about the difference in weight, you can be you can be confused because the two are different, or you can stay in the rational and the reality. They are going to read differently. And that's okay. Here is mine, here is theirs. And I would keep that as a running total. Does that make sense, Kimmy? And not worry about the fact that they are different. They're just a benchmark. Right? I assure you, unless we've got the very precise scales that are checked very regularly, sometimes I think going and standing on a scale, for example, where they measure the weight of trucks, perhaps is the better way. Like those scales get checked very regularly. Something Jody's saying, I used to weigh daily, but it would ruin my entire day if I was up even 0.5, half a pound. I'm okay with a pound, half a pound here, or even a pound or two. It was when I suddenly put on more that I went, wow, I can't believe. But the reality is maybe that one meal did that, even though I didn't think it did. Maybe that one meal put on that much. I also was aware that I hadn't been doing enough walking. So, I think it was a good thing, Jody and Kimmy. I think it was a good thing that I put on the bit of weight because it made me look at what I was doing again. So thank you. Do you understand? It made me go, excuse me, what are you doing? What are you doing differently? You were doing a great job of losing, like almost a pound a week. And now suddenly you've lost a couple of weeks worth of hard work. So I can choose that it was either a negative experience or a positive one. So yes, I did stay in emotion a little bit, but it also, my way out of it was to go, okay, this didn't happen just by chance. This wasn't the weight fairy flew in and jumped on the scale with you. This is something you have done has changed the way your body is metabolizing. So let's have a think. What have you done differently? What habits have you fallen back into that maybe you want to look at again? To all the movers, the makers, the hustlers, and the shakers, to those who shout loud, who stand strong, and when needed, those who quietly move on, to those who build empires, move mountains, push boundaries, raise babies, make memories, and refuse to take no for an answer. You are the ladies paving the way for a new generation who are ready to play. Stand tall, stand proud for all that you are. Not what the media says you should be or could be, but the you that is here, standing now, and amazing. All right, so Jody's saying, that was many years ago that she did that. I am much more emotionally mature, I think. Yeah, I think you are too. I'm much more emotionally mature now. She said, and I think in brackets. So I could possibly handle more frequent weigh-ins. A link to that quote. Yes, isn't it beautiful? Let me see. I found it on Pinterest. Hang on a second. Let me just take a screenshot of it. Wonder if I can get it small enough so I can screenshot it. Huh. Wait. That is a technological challenge for me at the moment. I'm trying to get it so it all fits in one page so that I can screenshot it. Move. I'm trying, Em. It doesn't want to go sideways for some reason. Please go sideways. Do any of you do that? And there's no author given here either. Hang on a second. All right, so here's what I would suggest you do. Emma, write down one line of it, right? And I would suggest the line that would be unique is this one. You are the ladies paving the way for a new generation. Would be one line that would be unique. Hang on one second. Of course, I've managed to drop my screen by touching it. You know, or to those who shout loud, comma, who stand strong. You know, that's what I would do, is I would take one bit of it and then put that into the internet. I am so sorry that I can't give you exactly what you wanted. This one reminded me of Manon. I believe in pink. I believe that laughing is the best calorie burner. I believe in kissing a lot. I believe in being strong when everything seems to be going wrong. I believe in happy girls are the prettiest girls. I believe that tomorrow is another day, and I believe in miracles. That's from Audrey Hepburn. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, let me see here. Sorry, my screen is messed up. So, all right, here's a really nice quote as well. Hard times are often blessings in disguise. Let go and let life strengthen you. No matter how much it hurts, hold your head up and keep going. This is an important lesson to remember when you're having a rough day, a bad month, or a crappy year. Truth be told, sometimes the hardest lessons to learn are the ones your spirit needs the most. Your past was never a mistake if you learn from it. So take all the crazy experiences and lessons and place them in a box labeled, thank you. And by the way, Jody found it. Well done, Jody. So Jody found the quote. I don't know how she did it, but if you can't find it, Emma, let me know and I will send it on. It's under a category called Celebrate International Women's Day. I wasn't even sure where that quote came from, so that's why that's why I couldn't do it. Now I've got to get back to where I was. So forgive me for a second if I just get back on track here. What I'm happy about, though, Emma, that it touched you the way that it did. Enough that you wanted to find out where the quote was. I would like to ask you all, if you had daughters today, what would you teach them that you were not taught? And that goes for both those of you who are here online with me, but also those who may be watching. What would you teach your daughters today with the knowledge you have today? I think this is an interesting quote. It says, "Every man needs a woman when his life is a mess, because just like the game of chess, the queen protects the king." An Indian Olympic boxer called Mary Kom said, "Don't let anyone tell you you're weak because you're a woman." However, most people go, "Don't let anyone tell you you're weak because you're a woman." But I'd like to change that. Don't let anybody tell you you're weak because you are a woman. You see how you actually put the emphasis completely changes the reality. And isn't that true of our lives, right? Where we put the time are the things that come forward. Right, Kimmy's making a very interesting point. That's a good question because it's hard to teach children anything nowadays. I believe, Kimmy, that you actually teach more than you think you do. You know, you will continue to be a role model, either good or bad, for your children. Are you, and I really do believe that you can choose to be a good role model and not need to have impact. Yes, and that's absolutely true, Kim. Kim's saying yes, some children. The other thing is this, those children that don't want to hear, that's their right. And that's your lesson on how to let go, right? You don't have to hate somebody or think they're a bad person just because they don't agree with you, all right? And that's something that I learn every day, all right? Every day I have to remind myself, just because they don't agree with me doesn't mean I have to dislike them. Or is it not also true that even though you disagree with them doesn't mean you don't love them anymore? The difference is you would love them more if they agreed with you. You know, do you understand what I'm saying? Because you know how they say you cannot pick your family, you can only pick your friends. Is it not true that the friends we pick are ones that have similar views to ours? I actually, one of my friends has quite different views from mine, but I love her as a friend anyway because I learn so much when we get together. You see, because we come from two different places. So what I will do is I will go, okay, let's discuss this, you know, and then I'll go, give me your views on this. And she'll go, well, I believe da 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 da, and I go, okay, fine. And then I'll go, and I believe da 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 da. You see, we don't try and make the other person right or wrong. We just know we've got different views on certain things. But you know, 9 times out of 10, we will actually both come away from the discussion having learned a lot. Because what will happen is if she says, well, I think black is white, I'll go, wow, okay, I'm missing something here. Explain to me why, so that I understand. Yes, Trina, and happy International Women's Day. That is exactly what we're talking about, of course. So do you understand that to me, it's an opportunity to learn? And, you know, I actually get quite cross with her sometimes because she'll say things like, well, why don't you research it and you'll find out? I go, I can do that, but why would I do that when I've got my best researcher sitting right in front of me? So do me a favor, give me the Reader's Digest version of it right now and why you believe that to be true. All right, this is a beautiful quote. How many of you are going to, let me know if you nod your head. I think women are foolish to pretend they are equal to men. They are far superior and always have been. A very smart man wrote that. A man called William Golding. And some of you will recognize this quote, and I think it to be so very, very true. If you want something done, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. And that was by Margaret Thatcher. Yes, Trina is congratulating Jodie on the weight loss that she's had. Isn't it amazing, Trina, how much she has lost? And which, you know, when you understand that she has lymphedema, do you understand, to have lost that much weight, something tells me that something is helping her body circulate better. You know, Jodie, I hate to say this, but I keep wondering whether just doing the arm rolls has had a bigger impact on you than you know. And I want to thank you, by the way, for supporting me with the arm rolls. Yeah, she is a superstar. And you know, the thing is this, we know she cannot walk, so she hasn't done this by regular exercise. What she has done is change her eating and also by adding some exercise. You know, I've always said, if you don't believe that you can do exercise sitting down, try doing 100 arm rolls, literally just doing this and count to 100. Actually, I normally do 50 one way. I can't count and do it at the same time, even though I'm a woman. And then I go backwards for another 50 because it uses different muscles. And by the way, you know, you can really feel the flab on your arms moving. So the thing is this, and I've done this, right? My blood beats per minute is 76 at the moment. Let's do a whole lot more. And try and keep it sort of in the same rotation, because what it does is it's going to use different muscles, but you want to have them equally. What I've also noticed, if you're sitting up straight while you're doing this, it also uses your stomach muscles. Am I right, Jodie? It uses your stomach muscles, and my heart beats per minute are up to 97 now. So we know that doing that forces your body to pump. All right, so Jodie's saying it could be that the arm rolls have jump-started something. Yes, thank you for your support as well. And I thank everyone for inspiring me. Jodie, you have been our rock for I don't know how many months or years now, but I do know that this broadcast, you know, relies on you to do the incredible work that you do in support. And to me, the very least that I can do is to find ways to help you. You see, what I know about you is that excuses are no longer your way of doing things. Yes, but I can't because, all right? I really feel that day that I said, we are not a group of people that talk about what I can't do. We are a group of people who talk about what can I do. Hi, Neda. Good to see you. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're sick on the couch, honey. What's wrong? And happy International Women's Day. And you know something? Neda, you can put that heart any way you like, honey. We got it. Emrit Ray said that women are the nourishing power of the universe. Whoever has deep respect for women of the world will remain free from disease. And you remember the word disease. It is dis-ease. Wow, that's interesting, Kimmy. So you're doing the arm rolls while you're watching. That is amazing. You will be amazed at how much that does. Jody, how many miles have you done just doing arm rolls? A woman that knows her worth doesn't measure herself against another woman, but stands strong, calm, and self-confident. You see, I don't ask any of you to try and beat anybody else at anything. One of the difficulties that I have is the number of people who realize we are not in competition with anybody else, just ourselves. Yes, Ned is saying, I'm so proud of her. That's Jody and her arm rolls. It motivates me. Jody, okay, hang on a second. Maybe I can find it. I just want to let you know, we found a way of logging in Jody's arm rolls into steps. We did a calculation on that. And the figure that we came up with, hang on a second, Jody, let me see if I can get you here, how many miles you've done just doing arm rolls. She couldn't walk, but she wanted to support me. Dum, 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 dum. She's done 9 miles already, just doing arm rolls. Isn't that amazing? No excuses. Oh, I can't support you because what she said to me was, Ken, nearly 10 miles. Okay. So what Jody said is, how can I support you when I cannot walk or roll? Some of you know, Lauren is actually rolling her way in support, which is difficult and for her. But what I noticed is it's helping her get out. She actually went out and was sociable. Okay, so Jody's saying she's done 9.4 miles. My app probably says the same thing, Jody. No, mine just says you've done 9. But you're 11% of the way to your goal on your mission. That is really, truly amazing. I'm trying to see. I don't think I'm anywhere near that percentage. I don't know where it tells me what percent I've done. Anyway, I'm just trying to see how many miles I've done. I've walked 121.6 miles. Oh, wow. And that is not necessarily going out and walking. That's literally walking around the house, doing work. I would challenge you, for those of you who have the ability to do it, i.e. you've got a watch that tells you, I would really encourage you to check what certain actions do. Jody says, yes, but your mileage goal is like 20 million miles. It's actually 650 miles, which it said would take me about 3 years, but I believe I can probably do it in a year. You want to get a Fitbit? Yes. It's like, it definitely helps motivate you. As you get older, you find out that true happiness is not how much you make, or how many degrees you have, or how big your house is, or how fancy your car is. It's finding peace and joy and a calmness in your life that will soon become the most important thing to you. Your family are what matters to you. Love is what matters to you. Things that are of quality, not quantity. So it's been a difficult road for some. All right, Trina's saying, I got a nice compliment at a wedding this week. A cousin guy said, you come across different. I said, I've lost weight. No, he said, it's better. You have an air of confidence about you that I hadn't noticed before. Way to go, Trina. All right. Did it make you smile to hear that? Today's topic is around International Women's Day. And I'm just doing quotes that are under that heading. The beauty of a woman is not in the clothes that she wears. The figure that she carries, or the way she combs her hair. The beauty of a woman must be seen from her eyes, because that is the doorway to her heart, the place where love resides. The beauty of a woman is not in a facial mole, but the true beauty in a woman is the reflection of her soul. It is the caring that she's loving. It is the caring that she is loving, which she lovingly gives, the passion that she shows, and the beauty of a woman with passing years only grows. How many of you feel you're getting more beautiful in your peacefulness? Well, Trina, it's very kind of you to give us credit, but you know something? You're the one that pitches up regularly to listen to what it is we have to say. You see, it was my goal and always will be that maybe if I can just keep repeating, you know, these little messages over and over again in different ways, that you get to actually realize it's true. And Trina's saying about, did she smile when her cousin said that? She said, yep, yes, smiled and hugged him. Yes, because obviously he is a man of great vision, that he could see the change in you. Nothing makes a woman more beautiful than the belief that she is beautiful. Right. So, Nada, you already did one step in the right direction. All right. Because remember what we always say, that when you're stuck in a rough mental morning, as you said, right, you need to do something to change that emotion. All right. And what you did is you came in here. It's that. Now, let me ask you something, Nada. If you understand that it was that simple, that what you needed to do was to hear some positive quotes, do you understand the power of positive affirmations? And I wonder how many of you give yourself that going over every day. One of the things that I used to do when I could still stick things on my mirror, which I can't do, was that I literally had a page that I typed out of positive adjectives. Some of you have heard me talk about this before. You know, it would say, literally, you can type into Google positive, and let's do that. Hang on a second. Why do I talk about it when I can do it? Okay. Okay, so I just typed into Google positive adjectives. And and it's brought up a list. Hang on a second. I want to get that onto a sub screen here so that I can read it at the same time and chew gum. You know that feeling. Got to do two things at the same time, requires two screens. All right, so let's minimize this screen. Okay, and then we'll bring the screen up. All right, so here's what I'm going to do, Nada. And you can do this. That's all I did. I just typed in positive adjectives, and I'm just going to do the A's. All right, just hold on. I'm going to just try and get this out of the way here. Here we go. So this, and I'm just going to do this with the A's, Nada. Ready? And I would say to myself, what would an adaptable, adventurous, affectionate, ambitious, amiable, compassionate, apparently one to C's now, considerate, courageous, courteous, diligent, empathetic, exuberant, frank, generous, gregarious person do now? Do you understand? I get all those positive adjectives into my mind, and then I read the list, and then I go, what would that person do? Not the one that's sitting here sniveling, feeling sorry for myself, right? That person isn't going to get anywhere. I need to do something differently. And to do something differently, I need to change what's going on in my mind. Right. It is, Nat is saying it's hard when you live with people who putting you down. Yes, it is hard when you do that. We've got Nyasha who has the same problem. It's very hard to do that. But you are strong, and you have ways of getting out of that line of fire. And, Kimmy's saying that she had a problem a couple of days ago because her younger cousin and friend died. Well, you're right, Kim. That requires getting out of yourself, all right? And to realize that the best way you can honor somebody who's passed is to be happy, not to be sad, to be happy. And to think of them and all the fun things that you believe about them, or all the fun times you had together. That is the fastest way I know to help you get through grief. It's not what I do whenever I have to grieve is that I go, yes, I miss you, but I am so glad that I got to be with you. I'm so glad that we got to do, and I would, whether it's, quite honestly, a human or a puppy, I will say the same thing. When Bean passed, I kept saying, yes, I miss you, and for that I am sad. But Bean, I am so glad you came into my life. I am so glad you taught me how smart dogs are. I am so glad that you taught me that you can trust me. I am so glad that we had time together to laugh and play. I am so glad that you made a whole barn full of dogs being trained and their owners collapse into hysterical laughter through your antics. I want to thank you for that. So I am sad to miss you, but I am so glad that you were in my life. Thank you. And, I do that a lot, and it brings tears to my eyes even now to think of him. But, he was only there for 8 years, but boy, did he make an impact on my life in 8 years. And for that, I am so very grateful. And not only my life, but for some of you who've been viewers for a long time, some of you, he made an impact in your life. And for those of you who don't know, he couldn't, He couldn't let me do a broadcast on my own. He would always be popping his head up and going, "Hello, who's here?" Or I was trying to do a vlog, and then he'd come into the vlog and look straight at the camera. I know there are people in there somewhere. Yes, Kimmy's saying, I have to be careful not to let depression from grieving pull me down too far. Kimmy, wow. That means that you realize that it is what it is. Hang on a second. And you need to sort of get out of the emotion. This is something that I was taught. If you can get out of the emotion and then look back at it and identify it. Okay, I know I'm in emotion. Let me just get out of it for a second. What is the emotion I am feeling? By the way, do you guys find the visual helps you? Right, so for example, Kimmy, you can feel really, really sad and you go, okay, fine, what's this emotion? Oh, I'm missing my cousin. And now, do I want to stay here in this negative emotion, or do I want to change this to a positive emotion? You see, you get to choose if you want to do that, as you heard me do with the story about Bean. Yes, I am sad to this day, and it's over 5 years now. But, I am so happy. I am just so happy. And these are tears of laughter now. I am just so happy that he was part of my life. And I like to believe that he was happy to be part of it too. Jody, one of the things that I found is if a picture paints 1,000 words, this, hang on a second. This one picture, I just want to get all the bits out of it for a second. I'm going to add this in now because it's important to people. I think people are ready to see this, that when you're stuck in emotion, the way you get rational is to do something about it. All right? And so or do something to distract you, or just understand it. It's your choice. If you can see that being emotional is a choice. But, something happened this week. I can't remember what it was. And I suddenly got quite angry about it. And I started to laugh and I went, oh, I guess I'm back in emotion again. And I don't want to be there. So I'm getting out of it. Wow, Kimmy's saying yes, and I opt out within 2 days. You've been able to get out of grieving. That is amazing, people. I am so proud of you. Well done, Nada. Do you understand? That is mental health. That makes me cry. No, I make myself cry, but I am so touched that you guys, you see, if you have been able to learn this, then do you understand the value of that? I've always said, if I can teach anybody how to help themselves better, this will be a good day. And so, thank you. I actually want to tell you that when I was at the doctor, he was quite impressed with my weight loss. And I said, well, I just need to thank you very much indeed. So he said, why? And I said, because if you hadn't diagnosed me with diabetes, there are about a dozen people around the world who are indirectly helping me control my weight and my diabetes. And in so doing, they are learning as well. So I really want to thank you for diagnosing me with diabetes. He just shook his head. But can you see that I genuinely believe that my journey, however up and down it goes, my journey becomes your journey as well. And that hopefully you all learn a little bit through my experience. And the other thing is that because my experience isn't all good, that is okay as well. Right? It just is my journey, right? I had a really tough couple of days this week, as did, Kimmy. And so, it's like, the trick is, Treat is saying it's the learning, Sal. It pays off. Yes. And the funny thing is, I'm going to tell you something really funny about the weight loss. Do you know I lost more weight when I was eating strange foods, like salad with Spam. I lost weight eating that. Go figure that one. So you go, okay, fine, you need to know that. Why? Because obviously Spam is pretty high in protein. So, I need to go back to doing those sort of things. And what happens is, like an airplane, I keep going off track. So I'm pretty sure the dietitian is going to tell me that this, swing is fine as long as the overall angle is down. If we went on this incredibly big jump up, I would think that this is just fine as long as it keeps going down. If it starts going, then I've got a problem, right? But as long as it keeps going down, how many of you are seeing this visual? It's okay to have this little blip every now and then if the overall angle is coming down. So I also stopped walking because of the snow, if you remember. And then I went, well, you got no excuse because the weather's beautiful. I still haven't been outside, to walk. And so I went, okay, if you don't want to go outside to walk for whatever reason, then go to the mall and walk. And I did. So I did over 5,000 steps yesterday and I didn't leave the house. I was proud of myself. And by the way, for those of you who have found you can turn your emotion around fairly quickly now, are you proud of yourself for doing that? I hope so. I hope that you know that that is a choice that you have made, that you can turn it around. Jody, I want to thank you for the support as well, and to Lauren as well, because when I realized what I had done in terms of what I was eating, like Kimmy, I was confused, right? This is like, I was confused. What did I do? I just had one meal and it put on that much weight. I don't believe that. But what I did was, as I said, I said, okay, do you want to stay here beating up on yourself that you're a bad person, which is not true? Or do you really want to just accept the fact that something went wrong? And, maybe one meal can do that. And that's something you're going to need to learn. The trick is, can you correct it? And that was something that Jody was really good at doing for me. She said, you know how to reverse the edema. You just make your magic elixir. And I'm going, I have a magic elixir? Jody, I wish you could have seen me that day. I'm going, like Bean used to go. I'm going, magic elixir? I have one? So then, owing to the fact I couldn't remember that I did, so I said, which one, or something. And Jody wrote back to me and said, yes, your mix of turmeric, ginger, what's the other thing I put in there? Turmeric, ginger, and lemon, something else. Oh, black pepper. All right, so, and by the way, Jody, can you remind me to take those pills as well? all right, because I haven't been taking cinnamon, thank you. Yes, turmeric, cinnamon, ginger, and black pepper. Now, the black pepper is an interesting one. So, Jody, I would really appreciate it if you can ask me, be interested in how many steps did I do, please, and be interested in, did I take my magic elixir capsules as well as drink it? When I look back on my life, I can see the pain I've endured, the mistakes I've made, and the hard times I've suffered. When you look in the mirror, when I look in the mirror, I see how strong I've become, the lessons I've learned, and I'm proud of who I am. No, I'm taking that for my general health, Kim. One of the things that I found out is those things together help detoxify. Jody will tell you, she's good on this stuff. All right, but it helps detoxify you. So I can either choose just to drink it, but if I don't drink it, then I also have made it up in capsule. I made my own capsules with that combination. I chose not to take them anymore for some reason. Excuse me. You've done the cinnamon to help you lower your blood glucose. Yes, I'm doing, losing weight will help me with my blood glucose as well. Yes, Nada. She's saying, I hope all of our health improves. I hope all of our learning improves as well. Right. And Jody's saying it's very nutritious and hydrating. It supports the immune system and steady blood sugar. Yes. And I found, rightly or wrongly, Jody, that as soon as I can feel a slight shift in that brain fog, as soon as I feel that shift, I just go and take another sip of this. It's really interesting because what I realize is that it's all helping. By the way, to my horror, I started, this might be too much information, but I started documenting how many times a day I go to the washroom, and I was horrified. And then what I did was I went, why are you horrified? It is what it is. Yes, this is a mixture of carrot and orange, so fruit and vegetables. And then it also has the other stuff in it. Yes, Emma, I would say that, it would be great for you to be able to get out walking again, and I need to do the same. So, by the way, well, you know something? It's not fancy juicing machine, Emma. I'm just throwing it all into my magic bullet type thing and just liquidizing it. By the way, as I was saying earlier on, I've also got peel in there as well, because I think the peel is good because it adds fiber as well. But I could be wrong on that one, and I'm sure you guys will tell me. About change, it says, to begin anew, you must say farewell to who you once were. To open a new door, you must close one first. That can be heartbreaking and scary, but it's necessary if you're to change and grow. Say goodbye to the old you and rise up as the stronger and more magical you. Walk through the doorway to new happiness and life. One of the things I was aware of, by the way, when I went to the doctor, I said to him, I realize I could have probably lost 20 pounds by now if I'd gone on keto as a way of life. But I am also pretty sure in my reality that I would not stay on keto as a way of life. So therefore, I am slowly, I said, I don't know how the right way to describe this is, but I am slowly attempting to keto my life. In other words, I haven't gone from 0 to 60. I am, slowly adding more keto type meals to my life. All right, so Trina's saying lost weight and had blood done recently and cholesterol went up. Apparently, I need to eat healthy fats to bring it down. Had to cut out fats. Okay, so that's the reason. By the way, Trina, that's the reason I got the halogen oven, so I could still, have food, but all the fat would drop away. George Foreman did that as well. But what I liked about having a halogen oven is that, you could, really bake things quite easily. Emma's saying those quotes have blown my mind. That Audrey Hepburn one was, wow. Thanks for sharing this. You know something, I've said this every week, Emma, that I could repeat the same quotes every week, and every week you would all hear them differently just because of the place you're in this week. All right, so Kimmy's saying it's been snowing all week and cold. I can't wait for spring. I can wait for spring. Right? You understand what you're saying if you say, I can't wait for spring, yes, God, I can wait for spring. Yeah, keep me here. I want to see spring. I can wait. All right, so let's do that. Let's do a little bit of event countdown for you all so that you can. It's 12 days away, spring. Just 12 days. All right, we're into the run into Easter now, and we've got 1 month and 14 days left. Did anybody give up anything for Easter, for Lent? It was, do you guys want to laugh a bit? I don't know how this has happened. I am coming up to 72 years of age, and I was watching the newscast and I'm going, why has that guy got dirt on his forehead? And that wasn't bad until the anchor came onto the screen and he also had dirt on his forehead. And first of all, the person I saw it on was Rick Santorum. And I literally Googled what it looked like he'd cut himself. And I went, what has happened to Rick Santorum? Santorum said, couldn't find anything. And then I suddenly saw Chris Como, and he also had this, cross-like shape on his head. And I'm going, what's going on? And then I went, wait, it's Ash Wednesday. But, it took very smudgy, yes. And you know something? It was so strange because I'm going, I can't believe that I completely forgot about them. Going, why didn't they clean him up before he came onto the camera? Yeah, right. There's got to be a good reason, right? So we've got, right, does anybody give anything up for Lent? Wow, Jody's given up anything sweet except fruit. Wow, Jody. I tell you, I've given up Mars bars, but that wouldn't be a big challenge, right? Yes, it would. No, I don't think it would, because I think I've done over a month without Mars bars already. Let me try and think, what's the next? Yeah, Trina, I understand that it was Ash Wednesday now. It took me a while. But I wish you could have been sitting next to me. I'm going, why didn't they clean up his face before he came on camera? that's so weird. And I'm going, maybe he hurt himself because it looked like a scar. And I'm busy typing. And then Chris Comer came on and he's got splodge as well. And I'm going, okay, wait a minute, people. I'm missing something here. And then I went, yesterday was Pancake Day. That makes today Ash Wednesday. Duh. Hope that made some of you smile. All right. And in case anybody needs it, you only have 291 shopping days left until Christmas. Yikes. Now, it was the baby bear's birthday yesterday, for those of you who know Mia and Kira. And I know that they are away, busy enjoying themselves. And so I made a virtual birthday card for them, which hopefully they enjoyed. And just said to them, okay, I'm going to, be down to visit you. I'm going down to visit them towards the end of the month. It's the first time that we could find a date that suited us all. So, I ended up going and getting presents for them and stuff. So, it's all stuff that we can paint and draw because, as you know, when I go down there, that's what we do. We get very creative. We have a lot of fun being creative when I go down. And there is that part of me that thoroughly enjoys that time. The other thing is, I've learned the art of entertaining children now, of that age. It's just like, okay, tell me which movie I need to watch and why. And or tell me who's your favorite princess this week, right? Hi, Nyasha. You are welcome at any time, and you know that you can watch it on the replay. We've been talking about International Women's Day. But one of the things I love about playing with the children is that it is such fun to just what I do with the twins is I literally take a guess as to which one is which and see their reaction, and I know that I got it wrong, and then I've got it right for the day because I just remember what they're wearing. Which is fine to a certain extent. However, the next day I have to make the call again and get it wrong again if necessary. But sometimes I get it right. I know that I've got a 50% chance of getting it right the first time. So that is great. I'm just trying to see what birthdays we have. The next birthday we've got coming up, I think, both the Brit towards the end of the month and Benji's as well. So, and we had one earlier this week. Who did we have earlier this week? Anamete, that's right. All right, so. All right, so Emma's saying we could learn so much from a child's imagination. If anyone has Netflix, please watch a brilliant, stunning, and beautiful movie called Before I Wake. Jody, can you remind me to check that out? All right, so Emma, that is awesome to let us know that. I love any recommendation on a movie that really touched your soul. Yes, Niash is saying, I viewed Judy's vlog a while ago and MamaSal, I cried my eyes out. Those girls are growing up so fast and so very polite. Oh, my heart. I want to tell you something. They've done a wonderful job of parenting those children. I say that to them every time I see them. I go, gosh, how I wish I'd had parents like you. If you want to see how kids think, it's a great movie for that. I think, you know something, I've got to ask a question here. Would it be true to say that it is also the way that people think because all we are is grown-up children, and in some cases, not so grown up? I want to tell you, the day that those twins broke my heart was the day that we were doing the gingerbread houses, and they wouldn't give me a high five because they had had nuts with some garlic on it. And it took me a while to work out why they weren't giving me a high five anymore. And then we found out that the reason was that they had had snacks that had garlic on it, and that they knew not to touch me if they had had garlic, not to touch me without washing their hands. And it was just like, it broke my heart. I'm just want to tell you that I melted in that moment, that they didn't say anything. They just said, no, I can't high five you. And I went, that's so strange. I want to tell you that Juliana, yes, that I agree with you, Emma. That was a magical moment as well. When Juliana, heard about those children who had so little in their lives and immediately went to go and find clothes so that she could give them. There have been moments that they definitely have done a wonderful, wonderful job. They also, I think it's every season, get to sort out their toys. And, which ones do they want to keep? Because the rest are going to people who can't afford toys. Yes, Nyasha, I wasn't able to have children either. And so you understand what I did is I made sure that I had children in my life. You see, medically, I wasn't able to have children either. And what I did was, I found a way of having children in my life. Even though they screamed at me, Nyasha, every time they saw me. I'm not joking. When the twins and Juliana first saw me, they used to scream. Now that doesn't fill you full of confidence. I totally agree with you, Emma, that you're doing something right when your children. I'm just going to do that. When your children do something as good as that, then you know that you're doing. I want to tell you something. That last trip I did, I found it amazing that they actually hold me in their prayers every night. I thought they did it for my benefit because I was there, and Judy said no. That is their prayer every night. It includes you every night. And of course, I was a total wreck after that. Yes, I want to tell you something that it is really cute. And I also want to tell you that the greatest gift for me is to be able to go down there and play with them. Because there's that part of me that gets to play with them. do you know what I mean? It's like, why do boys get toy trains? And I was amazed, for example, when I first came here and I met young Cody, that's Yvonne's son. He told me about this train set that he had locked away, but he wasn't allowed to play with. And I went, what? Somebody had given him a train set, but it was so good that they weren't allowed to play with it. And I said, I need to talk to your mother. No, I don't think they see me as a second mother at all. No, Nasha, I bless you for that. But they do see me as a second grandmother. There is no doubt about that. And they know that I love to play their games. Right? It's like, okay, what new games did we get since I was last here? And they, I want to, what games are we playing now? And which princess are we into now? You see, to me, it is amazing to me to find out what this is about. And I will sit now. Do you know something? Young Juliana gave far more attention to the National Geographic attention. The National Geographic channel. She gave more attention to that than she did to the latest Princess movie. And I found that really interesting. When she could tell me about whales, she could recognize all the different whales without even being told. I'm going, yikes, this one is not anything but a very smart cookie, which we already knew. So I am fascinated watching them grow. And in a way, I love it when I can go down there because it is special. Oh, interesting, Nada. For more childhood stuff, you're talking about inner child stuff, or that we actually start. You like the idea that the things that are important to a child are important to us too, because we are just grown-ups. Well, partially. I think that's part of the emotional intelligence, right? Is what is the difference? And, the healing is very important. The growing is very important. Yeah. Okay, Nada. I think it's a wonderful idea because it's all part. This is what this is about. And to me, it's a wonderful learning experience to learn how to get out of the emotion. I can't believe that I wasn't taught this system. Well, actually, I created this visual, but it's like I didn't realize that I could get stuck in my emotional part of my brain and that everything has to pass through here to get to rational. I didn't know that. I didn't know that being a little bit emotional was part of the process. Did you? So, yeah, I would be delighted to do that. Obviously not for this weekend, but I will start working on it for next week. Nada. And I'm sure that Jody will make a note to remind me of that because she's good like that if I ask her to. So in terms of International Women's Week or Women's Day, how many of you know it really needs to be International Women's Year? Or do you not think it needs to be what we say about ourselves every day? And I believe so strongly that we need. Hi, Sakura. Good to see you, honey. How are you feeling? And how's your daddy doing? Your father-in-law. Eleanor Roosevelt said, well-behaved women rarely make history. Go right ahead, Emma. Ask the question. How many of you know that sometimes you do need to rock the boat a little to get anything done? And Hillary Clinton said, women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent in the world. How many of you know that by educating the women around the world, we will change the world? Wow. Okay. So Emma is asking us all, and even those of you watching on the replay, feel free to leave your comments. As a woman, what is the one thing of which you are most proud in any aspect of your life? My answer, there are lots of things, but I would say that I have been able to make a difference in people's lives by being who I am. All right, so that's great news, Sakura. So you're saying you're good, tired, haven't had enough sleep, and that your father-in-law is better and back at work. Wow, that's amazing. Happy birthday from us to him as well. Yes, I think I would have to say that being who I am and having that make a difference, not just here, but in the lives of people. And funny enough, some of the most amazing things that come back to me now as I get older is people who will tell me, I will never forget the day, Sal, that you told me, fake it till you make it. And I go, what? I never forget the day you said that. I've been doing it ever since. I go, oh, that's wonderful to hear. Yes, I've had people say to me, I will never be able to thank you enough for the day you sat in front of me and asked me, tell me honestly, what do you love about this person? And, and the fact that when you asked me that question, I couldn't come up with one answer, that told me everything. And she said, but what if you'd never asked me that question? I was about to get married. And so, yes, Sakura is saying the opportunity to make a human baby in your tummy. Yes, I'm certain a lot of you consider that to be, your greatest achievement. Mahatma Gandhi said, woman is the companion of a man, gifted with equal mental capacity. And Michelle Obama said, the difference between a broken community and a thriving one is the presence of women who are valued. Malala, for those of you who remember, that was the girl who had acid thrown at her face and had turned out to be an unbelievable advocate. She said, extremists have shown what frightens them most is a girl with a book. Yeah, Emma, it's interesting. She says that I helped her dodge a bullet. Yes, I don't know. Hi there, Linda. Yeah. Well, Linda, it's a pleasure. She said, you taught me how to be me. Yeah. I want to tell you something, Linda. Being who you are is the greatest gift to the world. I heard it said once that God only made one of you. And our job is to make sure that we show the world why that was a good thing. Okay, great to see you, Bernice. All the best. We miss you. So carry on back. I find it interesting that this was a quote. How good does a female athlete have to be before we call her an athlete? Not a female one, but just an athlete. Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them. How about sometimes the best man for the job isn't? I like that. So, everybody, I hope this has made you realize that you have great value in the world. Right. And Emma's saying that we, and she says me, but it's us. Sal taught me that no matter what you're going through, it's okay. And if not right now, it's going to be okay. You know, I've been through a lot of stuff. Yes, you have been through a lot, Emma. And you know something, in that you are inspiration in so many cases. I keep trying to remind you all that, you know, whatever struggles you're going through, the fact that you come on and share them with people, it helps. It helps. And, you know, another person, that's another saying, okay, Sal's taught me that this too shall pass. Yes. And I want to, you know, as I said to the doctor, the best way we can teach other people is to show them, right, to be the role model. I can remember that Benji asked me, where did I learn my speaking style? And I went, what? And he said, where, you know, you have this incredible ability to help people understand things through your stories of things. And I looked at him and I said, I'm amazed that you're asking me that, because I learned it from the best. And he looked at me and said, who? I said, do you remember the Sermon on the Mount? Do you remember all the parables that were in the Bible? Because, you know, the truth is people understand better when they've got real life examples they can compare it with. How many of you realize that? That even though I'm trying to help people learn, I'm learning every day as well. Even though I am trying to help you, I am struggling like you every day, right? This is not about I am better than. I am not better than anybody. I am just doing my best to share the little knowledge that I have. And the fact that you can see that, and the fact that you can feel the difference in yourselves, do you understand? That means we've already achieved my goal for this year. My goal for this year was to have people grow in their emotional intelligence. And what you're telling me is that some of you can feel the difference already. So as this is only March, imagine how strong we're going to be by the end of the year. And I just saw the time. So this is International Women's Day, or what's left of it for those of you. Emma, it's probably past that now for you nearly. Oh no, it'll be about 8 o'clock at night, I think. So what I want you to do is to be the best you can be. Stop being in competition with anybody else. Stop comparing your weight with anybody else, your height, your whatever. Just work on you. All right? Be the most loving person you can be. Even if you're not perfect, be the most loving you can be. You are still allowed to be human every now and then. I would say, well, hang on a second. This is Jody having a moment here. Hang on a second. Sal is such a dynamic teacher and a wonderful friend. If I knew her for 100 years from this day forward, I have a feeling I would only have begun to know the fascinating woman that she is. Oh, yikes. Whatever. You, all of you, need to understand that if you were not here with me every week, you would not be growing. It's not about me. As much as I would love it to be, it's all about me, but it isn't. You see, it's because you are here, you keep hearing the messages over and over again, and eventually you go, you know something? If I want to get out of here, I just need to do something. And the route out is to do something and get me into rational. Well, that is so kind of you, Nyasha. Nyasha is saying, Nada, that's because others make fun and giggle. If there is a bunch of individuals who won't, those that are facing challenge would find it easier to cope. And this channel has people who are kind. I actually was asked once, Nyasha, at a YouTube meeting, what one thing did I think my viewers had in common? And I said, that's a no-brainer. They care. They care about one another. They care about themselves. They care about making a difference. They care. So Nyasha, I totally agree with you. And by the way, we have had to get rid of quite a few people who wanted us to move away from caring. Yes, Kimmy, absolutely. Kimmy's saying, I'm working on myself because I realize it's not my fault. And it was out of my hands. Certain things happened in my life. When you can see that you have the ability to move your future, not your past. You see, Nyasha, you didn't realize that you could change your future. You thought that you had to continue to live your past, and it's not true. And I am so delighted with you all that you are seeing it and that you are doing it and that you're feeling the difference. You cannot give me a greater gift on International Women's Day than to tell me that, because it means that together we have made a difference in the world. Because I know, as do you, that whatever you have learned, you will pass on to others. How many of you have found that you are passing some of these wisdoms onto other people? Anybody? Because you understand, I think it is the greatest gift in our life, that we are just stepping stones along the path towards health. And if you can see that, if you can feel that, and if you already can see that you've made a difference in other people's lives by sharing what you have learned, this is the greatest gift. Linda says, several of the biggest hugs for you, Sal, have now had agrees with my choices, Sal, 15 years worth, and he thinks so much of me and has bought me a car. I didn't need it, but he bought you a car? Wow. Together we can all be and grow stronger. Absolutely, Nyasha. We can do this together. We needed to find somebody who would listen to us. You know, and Kimmy saying certain people have been blaming me for their paths in life, and I used to blame myself. Yeah, you see, you're learning that they made choices, and so do you. That's why they came into your life, Kimmy, by the way, is to show you that mirror so that you can see it was about choices. If they were children, that's one thing, but when they become adults, adults make their own choices. They either choose to stay stuck or they choose to do something to change their thinking. Congratulations to you all. You give valuable time to help yourself. And I hope you see, because you are so talented, that in helping yourself, you are helping others. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, continue to look after one another, please. It's what helps us all grow. But most of all, take the time to look after yourself. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, thanks for being here. Thank you so much, Jody, for looking after the admin side of it. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, bye-bye for now.